How would people feel if we started making a foray into the territory of the Diawl Bach?
Right, yes. So I'm going to put up a 12 again. Probably use a different silk just to see if it...
You're going to do a run through and then tie along, or should we?
I'll do a run through and then we'll tie again.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way. I'm just using a already brown, rusty brown silk here. Now, Diawl Bach.
Say it again, Mark.
Diawl Bach. Little devil. It's considered a very easy fly, but in actual fact, if you don't get the proportions right, it's not an easy fly. Far from it. So let's hope that we can go through it properly. So we're going to tie a tail in. I'm just ripping off a few loose fibres from a cock hackle. Now, the idea, you don't want too long a tail. You want to get sort of proportion right. So I'm going to tie a tail in roughly just short of the length of the body. And just a few turns to pull that in. And then I'm going to get just the length of fine copper wire and just tie that in. And then I'm going to take two fibres of Peacock Herl and tie them in from the tip. Like so. And then we'll just wind them up, touching turns with the tying silk. Just slip those fibres off. Now because we're not going to tie a full hackle in, you can actually come up a little bit closer to the eye. We talk about proportion, and it looks a lot neater with a smaller head, unless of course you're going to put holographic tinsel or anything else. I'm just winding this. Notice the fibres are actually laying back already, which is a great help when you're tying. Probably far enough on that. I find it easier to wind the Peacock Herl clockwise and do the wire anti-clockwise. Some people do it the other way around. I just think that again, I'm putting quite close turns in with this, but it's not really showing up that well.
What's the basis for doing the copper anti-clockwise, Mark?
The idea is that it traps the peacock quill in, or the peacock herl in. If a trout takes that, it would rip that to bits and it would all unravel. So the idea of doing it clockwise and then anti-clockwise, or anti-clockwise then clockwise, is just to trap those fibers in.
I'm with you.
in place. Hold them. So we're going to now take the rest of the hackle, pull the fibres out 45 degrees or whatever you can, and just take a fair old bunch out, put them together, and what you're aiming for is to keep those tips in line. And what we're going to do now is to put the beard hackle in. I like to just touch the eye of the hook. I don't like to go over, so I'm just going to tie mine in fairly short, and we're going to put a turn in there, hold it in place, couple of turns. Just ensure that the fibres are running underneath the hook shank. And finish off. I think the head on the Diawl Bach looks better, actually, built up a little bit. So I'm putting more than I would normally in, not more turns in. I think that's probably enough. Pull it down and away from you. And finish off. Diawl Bach.
Nice, Mark. Could we just see you varnish the head there, Mark, and just how you apply the varnish? We haven't done that yet.
Okay. All right.
There, please. And some of the Diawl Bachs I've seen, they have shorter fibres on the Peacock Herl and are a bit slimmer. What would you favour? That look, I mean, maybe because we're zoomed in, that looks a little bit more plumpsy to me, like we tied in that treacle park in the other week.
Yep.
What's I suppose it's preference, is it?
It's preference, yes. I mean, looking at the. Hold on. I mean, I'm taking the fibres from near the eye. I mean, there's a load of can't really see the colour, but these are quite green, quite plump. But further down the stem, they're greener and they're thinner. So it's basically where you take the feather from.
Yeah.
Further down the stem, they're this sort of finer. I'll just pull one out and stick it up.
I've given Jason some finer fibres there, Jace, so don't be alarmed by that. Feels looks a bit slim.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm holding up two fibres. The bottom one is from near the eye. The top one is lower down the stem. So yes, there's quite a considerable difference in the. I'm trying to twist it round there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. It looks very, very buggy you know, this looks like a plump little insect swimming along, I suppose. Have you got some varnish you could put on there, Mark? On the
Somewhere.
if no one's ever seen that. Being applied.
I would give it a big double.
Oh, yes.
I must admit, I've never used one. I've never used one. My preferred fly in these situations would be another Welsh pattern called the Tivy Terror.
Nice.
That's a sort of
Did
slim.
you say you never used the Diawl Bach, Mark?
No. As I say, I use this pattern here, which I'm putting up now.
So that's is that black floss body? Looks
That's
a bit like
a floss body, a gold oval rib with a furnace hackle, or you can tie it up with a seal's fur body.
And what sort of terror have you wreaked on the Tivy with those flies, Mark?
I tend to use this on one of the lakes, the local lakes, just as a black buzzer pattern. I think that it's easier to tie. I think. I suppose I could bling it up like the Diawl Bachs are. They're very popular at the moment, with good reason. But I just find that that's a much.
I'm the opposite. I've caught most of my stillwater fish on a Diawl Bach. You know that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Whatever colour it be, I love them. I absolutely love them.
They have red hollow ribs and all kinds, don't they, Peter? And cheeks on them, jungle cheeks, and
yeah, red hollow. Well, you know, I posted before my favourite, the black one with a jungle cheeks.
Well, Gav and I were fishing that day on Loch Lean. You were with us, Peter, in Ireland, and
yeah, that's maybe that day.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, Gav, that it went flat calm and it was deadly, and then we're fishing the margin. You had a Diawl Bach on.
I did.
You had a very good take. Do you remember?
Well, they just look so insecty, don't they? It's brilliant pattern.
Yeah.
Marco, you enjoying yourself? Yes, I knew you would be.
Are you tying, Marco?
He's just absorbing it, Peter. He's soaking up the vibe at the moment. It's his first time. Yeah. I can see.
What I was going to put up is just going through some of my flies the other day, and if anybody remembers Tom Ivans, his favourite fly was a blackened peacock.
That's really
spider.
Oh yeah, love them.
Not that far removed from a Diawl Bach at all, really, is it? I don't think.
No, not at all. It's what's the tag there, Mark? Is that silver wire?
Just a few turns of silver wire.
And then he's ribbed it with silver wire, I would imagine.
Yeah, just to hold it in place. But and then a black hen hackle. I mean, if I cut the top off that.
Very similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Peacock Herl, great material.
There we go.
Thank you.
Do you want to run through another one, or are you happy with how you're getting on?
I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think you could lead the lesson on the Diawl Bach,
Yeah,
without doubt, Peter.
I think everyone's looking good there. I'll just check in with the chaps. Mark Thomas, are you happy with the run through Mark's done? Everybody else as well? Or do you need to go through it again slowly?
All good.
You're on mute, Mark Thomas, so I'm just going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Yes. Enjoyed looking at it going through once. Wouldn't mind the slow motion version.
Yeah, sure thing.
No problem. No problem.
You ready for this, Gav?
Yeah,
Good.
Are you recording it, Gav?
I am.
Are you? Nice.
It's just nice to, it's really nice to watch and have you all in my living room.
Yeah.
Nice to have some company, Gav, isn't it?
Good.
When you live on your own, man, it's hard work this lockdown, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Just for all you newcomers or people that haven't tied for a while, just note there that Mark is waxing his thread again before every fly, unless I'm much mistaken, Mark.
Yes, that's right.
Remember to wax your thread, people.
Especially when you're doing hackles.
Yeah.
Can you buy pre-waxed thread?
You can, but it's
It's not as good.
it's not as good, I don't think. I think the wax they use just doesn't sort of hold it as good as, you know, the running it through a few times. So I'll just straighten up here.
Mark, would
again.
you mind using the thin hackle this time, the thinner one, so we can see what it looks like, the contrast of the thin Peacock, the smaller fibers.
Okay, yeah, by all means, yeah, right.
Oh,
Good idea.
Thanks, Gav.
I always think of Gavin as that naughty schoolboy sitting at the back of the class, don't you?
It's just not true.
I bet it was.
What?
Heckling.
That's why I left with nothing, Peter.
Okay. I'll tie this one a little bit different just to bring the changes. I'll just tie this one a little bit shorter.
Mark, can I throw in a request?
Yeah, sure, go on.
But when you get to the beard, could you do it in a bit more detail, maybe? Because you know I have a problem with that, and I'd like to see how you do it.
Fine, yeah, no problem at all, no problem. So I'm just going to take a few fibres out. And tie in the tail.
Is it a good early season pattern, this, Peter, on the reservoirs?
Yeah, it
All
can
the time.
It can be all the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mark's in about. Mark can tell us it represents a lot of things. Mark, doesn't it? Buzzers,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
sorts.
Beetles, Corixa. I mean, the other thing we need to talk about as well is these beard or false hackles. They're used an awful lot for jay feathers, guinea fowl feathers, anything where you don't want a bulky hackle, especially when you're tying a wing. So learning to tie a false hackle, beard hackle, is very useful when you come on to, when we talk about tie wings. Invicta is one example where you would tie a beard hackle of guinea fowl underneath. I think there were a few other patterns where you would do the same. So it's again, it's a useful technique rather than solely for a Diawl Bach. So
Mar Lodge, I'm thinking of.
Mar Lodge again. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
You don't stop thinking about it.
Dunkeld is another one. The J feather underneath. Okay. So I'm just going to put in 2 pieces of Peacock Herl. So as I said before, you can wind them up the body a little bit closer to the eye than you would do with, say, a winged or a hackled pattern. I'm just going to wind. These up.
I noticed you bringing the materials to the top there again, Mark, to tie off, which I haven't been doing, and
There are occasions when you can get away with tying it underneath. It's just easier. If you can get into the habit, then by all means do it. But there are occasions, I think, when we come on to do wings, you'll find that tying off underneath is preferable.
Fair enough.
Because you don't want to sort of alter the wing shape. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes when we start doing wings.
Certainly will.
See, Mark is still tying. Where's Peter? I can't see Peter.
Peter's there. I can see him.
I'm done. I'm just varnishing my head.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, after cutting your hair.
A coat of varnish wouldn't go amiss, mate, to be honest. Mine's different to yours, though, Mark. It's skinnier.
Right. If I just put up the other one. Just put it in the.
Just move it to the left slightly, Mark, please. That's it.
I like the skinnier one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
She said.
You like the skinnier one?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, lockdown and post lockdown.
Post lockdown, yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, he ain't finished, is it?
Lovely.
Right, let's watch this beard then.
Okay. Right. So we're going to pull off a strip of fibers. We're going to just get them try and get them into.
That hen hackle or cock hackle still?
This is cock hackle. Yeah. And we're just going to tie it in underneath. And just pinch and loop. Yeah. That's 3 turns on there.
Mark, is there a secret to that? You manipulated the way that folded when your first or second turn. I go to do it and it goes the other way. How do you manipulate it?
Right, okay. Take it off, we'll do it again.
Yeah, please.
So get these fibers sticking out in the same plane. And then
Yeah, it's the laying down of the thread, the first 1 or 2 turns.
right, okay. I'm tying over the camera, so that's why it's going up. All right. Somebody's money box going off there.
There's a lot of noise on here tonight.
There we go. Okay, so we're going to tie it in
Cool, yeah.
that length. Okay. Just give it a little pinch. Hold it underneath and up.
Right, can I stop you there?
Yeah.
Right, now 9 times out of 10, when I do that first turn, my loop go the other side of the eye, always.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to hold it very tightly in place.
No, the thread, I mean. No, the thread.
Oh, the thread.
Yeah, when you did your first loop,
Yeah.
time when you did it, time before, it went perfectly. My thread will go the other side of the eye. Do you understand what I mean? It kinks.
Mark, may I say something on that? I just saw if your thread is, please correct me if I'm incorrect, Mark. If your thread is twisted up and you try to put a loose turn on, it tends to jerk forward. If your thread is twisted, like Mark says, you can see it's pretty flat. It will tie.
What is the secret, Will? Go on. What is the secret?
I'll just ask Mark to correct me if I'm incorrect. But if your thread is twisted up, Peter, if you twist in the thread, it has a tendency to jerk forward if you're putting on a loop.
Yeah, well, 9 times out of 10 it does it. Then I'm trying to get it back.
Okay.
But I notice, Mark, every time Mark does it, it falls just round perfect.
Notice this thread's not twisted.
How do you know when you've got your thread in the bobbin holder?
Yeah.
Do you pull it down so it runs over the side of the table, or do you leave it dangling on the vise?
Well, when I had a lesson with you, you told me off for leaving it dangling, and
That's right.
But can I be honest and say, a few years down the line, I still want to leave it dangling?
Yeah, and it'll spin round, you see.
Is that the reason?
Yeah, it tightens up.
So when you go to loop it over, you've got no control whatsoever.
That's
It goes
right.
wherever.
Yeah. The other thing is, I'm not sure if you can listen. Can you hear that rattle?
Yeah.
If I just undo this bobbin holder, I've got a load of lead shot, which you put in
Really?
between the 2 ends of the bobbin holder, and that weighs it down, and I find that helps. If you put shot in, it just weighs that bobbin holder down a bit more.
Because Mark, when I've said to you before, the problem I have is exactly the stage you're at now, or the turn before that. You know, it's always where it goes wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at another way. Let's have a look at another way of tying that hackle in.
Well, hopefully you've put me right. I'll try the way you said.
Okay, we'll try that. The other thing
Well,
you can do.
No, go on, let's see anyway.
The other thing you can do. Let's do it on the same hackle. Is make I use my lap for this. It's I'll hold it up, but if you can just do.
Sorry, guys, if I'm holding you up.
No, not at all.
No, we're all learning. I'm listening.
Not at all. I've never seen that lead shot before. That trick that's been kept from me for years. I've only just learned about it now. But yeah,
He doesn't tell you everything.
No, don't tell me everything.
What I've done here, I've made little cuts along the stem of the hackle, and I've put them into a V. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, what you do is just pull them together, and you've got all the tips aligned. All right. So again, you can put the tips up.
Yeah, but it's that now. What you're doing now is what.
Okay, right. Pinch and loop.
When I do dabblers, I do them the same way as you're doing it there, but I still
Pinch
get
and loop. It's actually like tying a wing in reverse or upside down. All right.
No, I get all that. It's literally the thread gets out of my.
Yeah, it's the thread. Yeah, that's right. Flatten it out. Flatten the thread out, and wax it, obviously.
Yeah, I always wax it. All right, I'll try that.
And if it does spin around, what you can do, you can still move that hackle fibers around and just make it sit down. Make it.
Yeah, but if you've not got control of the thread, you're gonna have to get in a pickle, man. I tell you, you really do.
Yeah.
Well done. Anyway, I've got something to try now. The alternative.
Yeah, it's too many twists in your thread there, Peter.
You understand what I'm getting at, Will, don't you? What happens?
Yeah, I do. It's your thread's twisted up, and if you untwist it, it'll actually tend to go back. You can see Mark's thread there. If you look at it, it's flat, and that's what you want to. And you can actually see it, and you've got a magnifier as well. If you unspin it, you'll see it flatten out as well.
Okay.
And that's where you want to be. We've all been there, Peter. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, it does it to me all the time with my dabblers and everything.
It's just getting in the habit of not letting that bobbin hang loose and spin, and just resting it at the bottom of your vise or on the table and on the edge of the table.
There we go. Probably played around with this one a little bit too much, but
Yeah, sorry about that.
that's all right. No, there we go. That's okay.
No, that was a big help. I think I'll see you tomorrow. I'll have a practice tomorrow.
Very nice.
Nice, Mark.
Well done.
I mean, cutting the V's in the hackle is very useful for things like guinea fowl. You can't do it with jay because it's only one side of the feather which has got the blue on it, but it's the way I've done it for years and years.
Decades. Yeah.
But when you bring those fibers together, they'll be the same length, which is a good thing. So I'll hold up the original fatty,
The fat boy one.
the fat boy one. So yeah, I get your point. I'd go with that. As I say, it's not a fly I ever use really, but
I'm not liking the fat one. I love the other one though.
Okay, well, he's dropped over the verge.
Remove the ascending fly. Oh,
Well, I hope there's something you can take from this tonight. I mean, next week we're going to use partridge hackles. And what was the other fly, Bill? I can't remember.
What we time with that then, Mark?
I'll have to get the
Partridge in orange.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of the other fly, but we're basically trying to build up step by step different uses of hackle. So we've started off very simple with the head hackle. We've done the palmer hackle. We've done now the false or beard hackle. I was thinking about the parachute hackle. But I think we'll ignore that for a little while yet.
So
I mean,
the lesson number 4 is partridge in orange and the gosling mayfly.
There we go.
Okay.
Gosling, yeah.
You'll be learning
Partridge orange spider.
partridge and orange spider. You'll be learning how to handle soft hackles. You'll be focusing on tying in points, feather manipulation, proportions, and hackle selection.
Yeah.
Happy with that, Gav?
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. And I think we've then cleared the hackle problem out of the way, and then we'll start to go on for winging.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to, unless you want to show yours, Mark Thomas.
Happy to.
Just Mark.
Where's the best bit to hold on to? Hold on.
Are you pleased with it?
I'm all right with it, Will, but the bearded part is looking a little weak.
Okay.
I mean, it's there, but
Yeah.
we want more fibres.
Nice thick body on that. That's not easy to get.
It's,
body.
as I say, proportions are very difficult to get right on a Diawl Bach, as though, you know, as long as...
Mark.
Hang on, Peter.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen commercially some very, very poor examples. As he takes his off the voice very quickly, but yeah, I mean, it is difficult to get right.
There's
You know, something which
so
is a-
versatile though, Mark, isn't it? There's so many versions you can tie of that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mark Thomas, you'll probably notice a lot of the comp guys tie them very short, don't they? Short, very, very short bodies on them.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I've got lots of different versions. I like the black one mainly.
Yeah, yeah.
What with
Black
a short body?
Yeah, black with a little bit of red, all sizes. Small ones go really well as well. It's a great fly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, chaps. I'm going to stop the recording there.
Okay.